Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Maria from Underthenightmoon, and I am so happy to be doing these videos today because if you're like me, you are stuck at home in this frozen tundra weather that we're having. I don't know what the exact temperature is, but we were like -6 a couple hours ago, and I don't even think it's 4 o'clock yet in the afternoon, but neither here nor there. I did enjoy the fact a little bit that my videos were going to come out on these days since we're kind of stuck at home. So I have made, and this happened very organically. I originally started just playing around with envelopes, and then the more I built, the more I realized how cute it would be that for them all to be together. And then again, as I was building, I realized, wow, this could actually become like a deconstructed journal. And then I started adding plenty of things to really make sure that there's plenty of things to document your story, to have fun with, to write on, etc. And so I have four. I have two of each. So they're absolutely identical except for the little girls. And so I have two of this little darling and I have two of this little darling, and I think they are both so cute. But as you can see, everything else is identical. So I'm only going to do a flip through of one because there are so many pieces to this collection that when I was doing the pictures, I tried my best. I'm working on my pictures. These are all already listed, so you can leave a comment down below if you want to about my pictures, or if you even notice that they're different. Hopefully, if you do notice, they're better. But anyway, okay, so it started with this envelope here. Then it went to this envelope here. Then it went to, no, then it went to this envelope, then this envelope, then this, and then this little baby one. So all together, it is 5 packages or 5 envelopes put together, and each one is filled with stuff to journal with. And like I said, my pictures were a little confusing, or I'm working on my pictures, but hopefully if anyone has any questions or anything, leave them for me down below in the comments. But hopefully by the time this video is done, everything will make sense, and yeah, it won't be confusing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the very first envelope. And this is a vintage envelope. And while I was dyeing the papers for the 5.5, just so you know, by 4.5, when I was tea dyeing the papers, and I used pink paint, gold paint, and some black chai tea to get this really pretty, like strawberry kind of color. It's so gorgeous. So everything has been pretty much dunked in that, you can see here, in those colors. This envelope, I actually did some stenciling on, and hopefully you can see. We actually do have a little bit of sunlight right now. I'm in Michigan. We haven't really gotten our snow yet. That's going to come tomorrow. So anyway, I did this really pretty texture. This is a honeybee stencil. I don't remember the name of it, but I did some sprays as well. There's lots of stamping. There's embossing this cute little red heart. I lined it with book pages to make it more sturdy. And there's lots of room in there for you to add pictures, notes, letters, and all kinds of things. I was recently gifted an old millinery hat with these gorgeous, gorgeous blooms and leaves in perfect condition. And so I added those and some more little millinery pips here. Those are called pips. And then some ribbon, or some embroidered roses. There's some velvet ribbon here. And then look at this gorgeous ribbon, or not ribbon, but ruffle. This is from eBay, and I did tea dye this as well because it was really pink. And then on the side here, I made just a whole bunch of charms. There's a key, an envelope, a pretty pearl, a little rose, like a coral colored rose, and a little enamel rose kind of hanging, just enough to make little dangly sounds. There's some beautiful rhinestones, bridal trim, seam binding, just to make this as pretty as possible. And then this really pretty calling card, and you can see she has a little ruby bracelet on. So that's the very first one. And then on the back, I showed you the beautiful stenciling, and then you can see the embellishments. This is some really pretty amity bloom paper. I also stitched with this gorgeous Japanese metallic thread. I don't know the name of it, but that is the metallic thread to stitch with because it didn't break once, and it was just really nice stitching with that. So you have some beautiful tags just put in the pocket here to start off our little journaling adventure. And that is the first envelope. And the way I had this, or the way I have this, if you don't want to, if you want to store it, I tuck the little baby one right here and it goes perfectly. So that's the first envelope here. And I just think it's so cute. So I'm going to go to the next little envelope here. I'm going to take everything out so you can see. And again, I stitched. Now you're not going to be able to see, maybe. I think this one is called Champagne. It's so gorgeous, the threads. And then on here is a little heart and a sweet little tulip charm, a little eyelet, and some fun little ribbons and trims. And then this little envelope die comes with a matching card. And I stitched across the top some pretty ribbons. So that goes in there. I made this fun little card out of this pink heart paper. So cute. You can see I used Tim Holtz Worn Lipstick and Kitsch Flamingo for the edges. Those two pinks are just heavenly. I did make another baby envelope. It's so cute and so fun. This I just made out of a printable, but I just think it's so fun. Little rose ledger and then a little teeny tiny letter, which you could even put someone's name on there if you have a special place in your heart for someone. I gave my sister a little pack of mini envelopes for her to put some of her, just most heartfelt thoughts. That's how I like to journal, just heartfelt thoughts. Okay, but I think, okay, and then if you are building Valentines, you need a sentiment, and so I put for my dear Valentine. And this was done in the worn lipstick color, and I love how that's just um, hanging out, and a little pair of wings in a white glitter paper. So cute. Oh, and then on the back, a sweet little Valentine, and I made a little tiny card again for just some secret journaling and some notes. And I just think that is the cutest thing ever. Okay, and so that just gets tucked underneath there. And I do like how the little bracelet is kind of peeking out. I don't know if you can see or not. Okay, moving right along. So the next one I made, and this is when I started to realize that, it should just be like a journal. And so I went ahead and made out of this really nice, beautiful vellum, an envelope. And all I did was fold, I curved them and kept the top part so that it's a sleeve. I didn't use any glue. All I did was stitch the bottom. Here you might be able to see that beautiful thread color. Well, maybe not. And I did reinforce the back stitches so it doesn't come out with some pretty border trim. But to keep the top closed, I just did a little flip, a sweet little ticket. You can see I stitched along the top. All of these fabrics too were tea dyed. It's really pretty rose. On the bottom of the rose, I put a little antique ribbon or a little piece of antique trim, the little heart, a little bullpen with a bunch of ruby red glass seed beads. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. That's on there. Some fun flocked ribbon. And then this gorgeous piece of antique lace. And I just love that. And then so all of this is open. Like I said, there's no glue, which I really love, and it holds everything beautifully. Okay, and then so inside, this is where most of your papers are going to come from. I have a packet of vintage papers, but so this comes with this packet, and then a bunch of fun things for you to play with here. So the first one is this gorgeous, I don't know, raspberry paper, which has been tea dyed in the gold. You can kind of see the shimmer right there. I did stitch this on the first page, and I stitched the pages together here. I did stamp Sampool's stamp up atop, and then I just thought it would be fun to tuck some things underneath there and use them while you're journaling. And these are nice and large, so you can write a good story. Here you can kind of see the pink paint I used. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing, again, if you're building Valentine's or journaling, I wanted you to have some fun elements. So this is an Anna Griffin layering card. This is a beautiful flourish from Anna Griffin as well. This is one of her decoupage roses. And what I love about these is they're oops, sorry, I'm not in focus. These are super thin. So you could glue them, absolutely. You could use a glue stick, but how pretty to use this wherever. You could even glue some of it on here if you wanted to. It's really up to the owner, but how beautiful. I've had these for so long, and sometimes things are just too beautiful for me to use, but I love sharing them, and letting other people maybe, oh, excuse me, enjoy creating with some of these beautiful things. Like I said, I've had them so long I don't use them because they're so beautiful. Okay, I also gave you another beautiful Anna Griffin card. Again, if you're building pages, pictures, you could even put a little, get some washi tape and make a little mini book with these. Beautiful little embossed piece of ivory cardstock. You see how it's deconstructed. Some cute little tags for pockets. This gorgeous little perfume label tag as well. I'm on a new table. This is my shipping table, so I hope you can see everything. Sorry if I'm not in focus. But anyway, so this is the second package, and I do like the little cherub here on the outside and the flourish kind of inside. And so that's the first little packet inside here. And I love all of the pieces, you know, just kind of like, isn't that just so fun? Okay, and then because I don't, you know, want nothing to be on the other side, I love having other things coming through. And so this is for the other side. And you get, of course, this fun hot pink paper clip. And then this part I thought of stationery, right? Like you need some really pretty stationery pieces. And so I put two little rose pieces together. I gave you a beautiful rose postcard ready to go. This is just a tea dyed, you know, paper dyed in the colors with the gold, and then it's just got some stitching, and I made a little tab out of this pretty rose paper. Very sturdy card, ready for a story. A few more doilies because it wouldn't be Valentine's Day. Look how pretty these are. So gorgeous. The Michigan thrift shops have been very good to me in terms of finding really pretty vintage supplies. And these doilies are part of a haul, I don't know, when I first got here, I think. Some really pretty rose stationery paper, which I like because it goes all ways, so you can't get it wrong, which is always helpful. a fun little sentiment. You make my heart smile. And this is done on some vintage paper. And then here I just stamped love on a pretty envelope. And again, just some really beautiful stationery. Just a really pretty place for you to journal, write a story, something meaningful, and move those letters, if you have them in an old envelope on your desk, to something more beautiful that makes you smile and makes you feel good and, makes you want to go to your desk. That's my intention building these books, is just to make pretty. I try to make e- these things as pretty as possible so that you have fun writing and it just looks pretty. I think I respond to, um, aesthetic things. Like everything comes out of packaging when I buy something and I put it into something pretty. So that's how I just think it's important to surround yourself with pretty things. And so this just goes in behind our little raspberry notepad, just like so. And it's very durable. Like I said, I've been working on these for a full week and it's just gotten prettier and prettier. So that's the next one. And then there's two more. This one is plain. And my reason behind this is in case you have some stamps or you have tags and things, or maybe you want to go get some. Okay, you can decorate this yourself going by the inspiration on all of these that I've made. And it's also vintage and it was taped shut. And so I just turned it into a little pocket and it's very sturdy. And inside here, I thought it would be fun to just go through some papers and just give you a little bundle, not too many, just enough for you to have fun with. So this is from a vintage sewing book, Off to a Flying Start. It's from the 60s. Of course, you get a cookbook, beautiful recipe to have fun with, some really fun ledger, French dictionary, this really beautiful onion skin paper that I know I said I was going to list and haven't yet, but you can see hopefully the watermark on there. Onion skin is really durable. If you don't know about onion skin, look it up. This is, you can do calligraphy on here. You can watercolor on here. I don't know about magic markers, but you can definitely use like thin, felt tip. I love it. I have a whole journal I'm working in with this, which is going to be coming soon. But I wanted you to have some of that. Here's a couple of really fun receipts, of course, vintage. A fun little postcard. I have no idea what this is, but it's 1 cent, so you know it's old. And it's just like a subscription to something. I just thought that was kind of cool. And another really pretty piece of vintage ledger. And so those are all the vintage papers for you to journal. Again, you could just stitch these together into a little signature and have a little book. Like I said, it's deconstructed. Or you can just play and have fun and put everything in the envelope here, and keep it all just deconstructed. I think that's really fun. And you can certainly journal all over this envelope. You can use markers on it. You can paint pens. It's the sky is the limit. And then lastly, I thought it needed a little color. And so I found a couple of just sweet rose wallpapers for you to kind of have fun with. And then another piece of this really fun pink paper to journal on. Again, plain so that you can enjoy or maybe go to Hobby Lobby and find some fun stamps. And then these are just, I just loved the color. And I'm already starting to get excited for St. Patrick's Day because that is my second fun time to create. Well, third really, because Christmas and the Blessed Mother would be first. And then of course, Valentine and then St. Patty's Day, because um, I have that green cake dye. If you were with me last year, you saw the green cake. Okay, and so the little cutie goes in there like so, and you know, there's so much more room in here for you to collect things and build. I just think this is just such a fun idea. I really just had so much fun with this. And then this is the last really pretty little envelope here to kind of just put the finale. It has this really pretty rose for journaling. This envelope I actually didn't have to dye. It was already pink, but I did emboss this part and used some of the worn lipstick on there as well. There's some tulle, some silk ribbons, a little glass charm with a little heart and arrow, so cute. And then some more ribbons and trims. And then inside this pocket here, and this is a very durable envelope, by the way. Okay, and so, well, let me show you the other side, and then I'll show you what gets inside the little pocket here. But I did find this really pretty pink shower paper, but the colors were just perfect. And so I went ahead and lined the envelope with that. There's a little baby tag that I made, some tulle. This has all been embossed. This is a Tim Holtz stamp. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell. And if you don't know the embossing, it's little plastic particles that we stamp in a glue, and then they come in all different colors, and you use a heat gun to melt it. It's like a way of doing, you know, expensive. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see the shine. It's just really fun. Ooh, excuse me. I did do some stamping on the side as well. And again, lots of room in here for you to add your pictures to. Okay, and then in the pocket, some of my favorite things in this whole book are in this little pocket, like this little journaling card here. Isn't it beautiful? And I just used the edge of the embossing folder, and I love the way this pattern came out on this ivory paper. So pretty. I just think that is just so pretty. And then here, just a very simple stamp on the pink paper to give you ideas, and that goes in there. Really pretty rose card here with a little embossed shoe. And then, oh, and some really fun velvet up there. And then this adorable little, so I stamped love with the different letters. This little guy, I just love him. I love the paper he's holding. I just love this whole image. Plus, or a she, I think it's a he, but I love that he's got a little gown on. And then you can see some of the stamping on the front and the back. And then inside here, again, a sweet little tag. This is a sticker. It's just some Anna Griffin gold sticker you can put anywhere in these packages. It would look really pretty on here, wherever you know, wherever you want. I did write sticker on the other side, so you know. And this deconstructed journal will come with an extra envelope full of goodies, more things for you to play with, because that's always fun for me. I like to give some really pretty rose stickers. You've got that, and I love the rose stickers on top of this. So pretty. And then another Anna Griffin flourish. This is not a sticker, but will glue really easily. And so those all go inside, not the flourish, but those all go inside there. And then this little guy I love because he's flying around. He's upside down. It's just so fun. Okay, everyone, that is the finale, the flip through finale of the Deconstructed journals. This goes on the back like so, and then these will be tied with this really fun white kind of ribbon, but it'll be tied very loosely. So thank you so much for hanging out and watching. If you stayed and watched the flip through of this, again, these are in my Etsy shop, and I just want to again say thank you so much to everyone who has left comments and feedback, whether it's here, my Instagram, or my Etsy feedback. I have received some of the most beautiful comments that any artist could ever want. And I'm so very grateful for all of that. It keeps me going, and it's amazing and wonderful. And I just want to make sure I take the time to say thank you. I'm very grateful. Stay warm if you're in the part of the country that's getting the frozen tundra. And what else? That's it. Just leave comments below. Let me know where you're from. I think I've answered all of the comments so far. But yeah, just thank you all so very much. Stay warm. I will see you all in the next video, everyone. Bye for now.